one man, one Murloc, one giant angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Total Biscuit of the WoW podcast Blue Please on crashingnewzealandinternet.com. Welcome to the show, and what a show I have for you today. I don't really, sort of a demi show, I guess. Average at best. I've had a very tiring week. A bit worn down, really. I'm spending a little bit too much time making the videos and doing all of the stuff like that. Dealing with fools, of which there are very many. I wish there were not, but there are. Yes, there are. What have I got coming for you in the show today? Well, at the end of this show, at 11 PM Rel time, that's 10 PM BST, which is generally about half an hour after the show ends, we will be attempting to do Trollfest. What is Trollfest, you might ask? Well, Trollfest is a celebration of all things troll. Yes. Do we even need to celebrate all things troll? I thought that was a default position, but apparently some people don't celebrate all things troll. So, I'm going to make this the official Trollfest date. Trollfest will now be an official holiday. It will be every year on the 1st of October, which is, in my opinion, the trolliest day of the year. And no, that is not April Fool's Day. That is not the trolliest day of the year. This is the trolliest day of the year because I am declaring it. This is indeed a royal decree on the matter. Every first day of October every year will be Trollfest. But there is an alternative, and indeed an ulterior motive for this. So, we're going to try and record a music video, and this music video is going to be for a very special track. This very special track is something that you have not heard before. It is an exclusive for this show. The short version is part of the BlizzCon Song Contest. However, I have the full version. It's by Bruguy, and it's called The Troll Dance. Yes, indeed. 'Tis the Troll Dance. So, we will see how that one goes. Somehow I have a feeling that it's not going to hold up. Honestly. Everything's not holding up at the moment. Everything is breaking. People are saying that the stream is timing out. My stream's working fine. I'm looking at it right here. No problem at all. There's nothing I can do about that. If it lags, meh. You'll have to listen to it on the podcast. I cannot fix that kind of thing. You are overloading our servers, apparently. You are spamming it too much. What have I got coming in for you in the show today? Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about this new raid lookout thing that's going on. It's been on MMO Champion, and it is an interesting state of affairs, a twist. One might argue it's a backpedal, which would kind of suck. The flexible raid lock system will be implemented in 4.0.1, which I assume is going to be part of Cataclysm as well, as you might imagine. There is quite a few things to discuss on that regard, because it really is a 180 from the position that they had previously. Can't say that I am too happy about it, really. But we will be having a look, and we will see what happens a little bit later on in the show. What else do we have? Well, I'll talk to you a little bit about Heroic Blackrock Caverns. I have finished it. I have done it. There is a video in the works. It is not out yet, so I will give you guys the first exclusive look at Heroic Blackrock Caverns. I will tell you exactly what's going on with it and whether or not it's actually worth your time. Not that I really think that being worth your time is something that honestly determines matters these days. It's rather odd. It's very interesting to see people will willingly and happily run dumb, horrible, horrendous content. They will do it. I don't know why. Oh yes, actually, I know exactly why. the badges, ladies and gentlemen, or in this case, the justice points. Yes, indeed. Justice ready, folks. Let's get some justice points in there. 75 justice points per heroic boss, you say? Because badges aren't good enough. You see, bigger numbers make people happier, so we're going to give out 75 justice points, as opposed to one badge of whatever. There's really no difference. It's just a currency, just like the others, but they give you more. You remember those children's game shows where they always used to give you loads and loads and loads of points? It's like that. Because kids feel better if they get 5,000 points rather than one. Yeah? And this is the same principle. Exactly the same principle behind this. Oh, it's insanity, ladies and gentlemen. It is insanity. But it is the case, I'm afraid. Oh dear. Well, we'll see. What else do I have coming up for you? Well, we'll do Cataclysm Q&A towards the end of the show, and I might talk about something else if I feel like it. As I say, I'm not feeling amazingly well today. I've been sort of dizzy the entire day. It really doesn't work all that much. But I'll do what I can. So, the unofficial announcement of the Cataclysm release date, ladies and gentlemen, December the 7th. That's only about a week off what I guessed. So, let me put it this way. I was reading a very amusing tweet. There are certain podcasters that don't really like me very much. In fact, there's quite a few of them, and I'm totally fine with that. It's lonely at the top, ladies and gents. But a certain podcaster predicted, I say predictions, Nostradamus-style stuff. He was looking at tea leaves and all that kind of stuff. And he predicted 2011, and people said, no, of course not. And he bragged about it. And then about 6 hours later, the news broke that it was December 7th. So, yeah, you feel a bit dumb now, don't you? Here's the thing, prediction and guess are not the same thing. At all. Something you do need to get into your head there, and that applies to everyone. It's not the same thing. Not at all. December 7th sounds reasonable, honestly. I think that sounds attainable. I don't really see any problem with that at all. Definitely worth a guess. And that's all it is. Although in the case of BB, he probably has inside sources. That said, of course, his inside sources failed him before, so you never know. Will it be September 7th? Probably. Probably, that's all I can say. Okay, folks. Is it time that we do something else? I think so. It's time for this.
Mail time!
That sounds like it's mail time. Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks, it's mail time. That would be the time where I read the mail, as you might imagine. What else would I do? I could trick you one time. I do mail time, and then I go straight to Cataclysm Q&A, or into a random topic, and then, of course, it'll be boring and whining, and they'd be demanding of refunds and all that kind of thing. I always like a little bit of hate mail. Hate mail's good. Hate mail is really amusing. So I'm going to take this one right here, because, hey, I'm totally open to criticism and flattening it in a one-sided debate. This one comes in from Angelo, and he said this: "You, my friend, are an elitist jerk." And I say that with love, I'm sure. You said that the biggest enemy are those adults with jobs that want the game nerfed. I say you are exaggerating the amount of people that are wishing the game to be nerfed as well as how nerfed they want it to be. Not really. I've always accepted that the people that want the game nerfed are, in fact, the annoying, entitled, casual minority. I've always said this. I've always put it out there that the majority of players are the silent majority. The problem is the silent majority doesn't get anything changed. Therein lies the problem. The people that need to be flattened are the noisy minority. Now, as a new WoW player, I started playing a couple of weeks after Wrath released. No wonder he has this attitude, by the way. You played in Wrath and exclusively Wrath. This is why you hold this attitude, because you have been socially engineered by Blizzard to have it. It's as simple as that. Totally understandable. It's not your fault, you know. A lot of people that started in Wrath are unduly influenced by the way the game was designed in Wrath, and as such, they tend to think of WoW in a different way, in a worse way, because that's the content they're being given. I had difficulty getting gear from Nax, so raiding was essentially tough, especially for a noob. That's why you get a guild. 1. The conquest system came into effect. What? Once the conquest system came into effect, people like myself were given a fighting chance. No, I haven't become an elite-level raider since the badge system, but it has helped bridge the gap between players that couldn't raid at all to the players who get the chance to raid once or twice a week. That, to me, was the original intent of the system, to get those players who wished to raid but couldn't find their way into the gear a chance to get a stab at it. Here's the problem, right? Because you are a Wrath player, you don't understand how actual group play works, at all. because Wrath doesn't tell you. Yeah? There is no point in Wrath where it tells you to get into a guild. Indeed, you are not encouraged to do so. And for God's sake, 5-man play is optimal in a pug. Well, it's not really. It's possible to play it in a group, in a guild group, and still get the optimal setup. But really, the optimal way to do a 5-man in Wrath of the Lich King is 4 guildies, 1 random. You take 1 random to get the 5% buff to damage, healing, and health, and then you take your 4 guildies. The chances are, though, if you bring 5 guildies, it's probably going to be better anyway, but hey, mathematically speaking, that is the optimum way of doing things. Before Wrath, as in the proper game, when it wasn't ruined, you would get in a guild, or you would get in a fixed team, or a fixed group, or just with friends, or anything like that. Guild play was the way to play, and that's how Cataclysm's going to be, and you're going to have to accept that. Everyone has to accept that. You want to know why you've got to accept that? Because it is fact. It's as simple as that. Just have a look at the guild perks. Have a look at the guild rewards. Have a look at everything you get. Have a look at all the benefits there are to being in a guild in Cataclysm, and tell me, with a straight face, that the way to play is not in a guild. Do it, because I'll tell you that you're an idiot, and you're not thinking straight. Now, the WoW raid content is arguably the cornerstone of WoW. Yes, it is. And thus they want a good amount of people to be exposed and have fun experiences on those raids. You, my friend, seem to be a harsh critic of those who wish to have a fighting chance in a world dominated by elitist jerk cheaters who go against the community of WoW. Oh, interesting stuff. Apparently elitist jerk cheaters are the reason that Wrath is the way it is. So let's see what his reasoning is here. That's right, those elitist guilds that have a long track record of cheating, exploiting, and downright antisocial behavior. What antisocial behavior? What, just because they don't say hi and give you a cookie in trade chat or whatever? They're a part of a guild. They are some of the most social people in WoW. People who are part of guilds are naturally more social than people who aren't. They are in a fixed social group that they constantly interact with and constantly work with, and have to, I might add, tolerate and become friendly with in order to be successful. That is social. That is not antisocial. That's cognitive dissonance right there. That is the absolute opposite of what these guilds actually are. We are the best, blah, blah, blah. We are the true raiders, blah, blah, blah. That's because they are, mathematically speaking, the best and the true raiders. What a load of crap, he says. Yes, they have a right to behave this way, but it goes against the entire WoW community. What WoW community? There isn't a WoW community. Can we please get this out of our heads right now? Get this idiotic idea out of our heads that there is some kind of WoW community. You are not a part of a community just because you play a game. Just as I am not a part of a community for owning a particular thing. Right, here on webcam right here, that's probably lagging about 2 minutes. I own this broken creative Zen Vision W that was caught in a typhoon in the middle of Bloodstock 2010 and now does not work anymore. I own it. It boots up, I think. No, it doesn't even do that anymore. Okay, yeah, it's definitely broken. That does not make me part of the creative Zen Vision W community. If I own an Apple product, I am not part of the Apple community. As much as a lot of Apple fans will believe otherwise. They think they're part of some kind of exclusive social club, which is ridiculous, I might add. You own a electronic device. That is not an all-access pass. That is not a membership to some exclusive lounge party. It is just a piece of material. It is just a product. It is just a brand. I am a WoW player. I am not part of a WoW community. There is no WoW community. There are communities that play WoW. It's the same thing. Look, a dog is an animal. An animal is not necessarily a dog. It's exactly the same as that. There are loads of communities within WoW, and oddly enough, the ones that you are so deriding are actually some of the most stable and solid communities within the entire game. They've been around for ages. They are extremely good communities. They are social groups that are willing to work together towards a common goal, and they are the best at what they do, and they should be applauded for that. Going against the idea of the whole WoW community, like I say, yeah, I'm sure they're going against something that doesn't exist. Some nebulous, ridiculous concept of community. The Insidious scandal is what I'm talking about. Here's an elite guild that cheats their way to the first Lich King kill, gets banned, and yet you give staunch defense to them using legal terminology. Yeah. Because that's the truth. It's as simple as that. If you knew anything about raiding, which you don't because you're a casual scrub, then you would understand exactly where I'm coming from. And in a fight that intense, how blatantly obvious it is that they would not have noticed that this was happening. I mean, we had this discussion over and over again. We proved it beyond the shadow of a doubt. We looked at sources, we had evidence, we had witnesses that clearly said that yes, the Saronite bombs are required as part of a top-tier rogue damage rotation. So they were being used. and there's all these spell effects going off all over the place. There is no way you can prove that they actually exploited it. What it is populist drivel. That's exactly what it is. They banned Insidia because it would make people like you happy. Poor players, bad players, scrubs, entitled casuals. Those are the kinds of people that Blizzard wanted to make happy. They wanted to throw them a bone. They wanted to take someone down a peg or two, make an example out of them, make a martyr out of these guys. And you know what? Yeah, they were martyred for the raid community. And the raid community looked at it and said, you know, any raider that knew what was going on and was aware of the intensity of fights like this was well aware that Insidia didn't exploit jack shit. It's as simple as that. But as it turns out, the scrubs got into their heads that, oh, all right, okay, we can be just as good as those guys because those guys are a bunch of cheaters. No, you can't because you suck and you don't work towards it. It's as simple as that. If you're not even part of a guild, how do you expect to be that good? It's absolute bollocks. Insidia exploited a glitch, got caught and got banned, yet you acted like they were the victims. They were the victims. They were made an example of, unquestionably. There was no evidence of any description to indicate that they actually cheated. I am what you claim to hate the most. A casual player who enjoys raiding, needs the Frost Badge gear in order to get in, doesn't have an elitist attitude towards a goddamn game. I believe a YouTube war is in order. I think you vastly overestimate your importance. Jesus. The YouTube war. God. Like putting the United States against, I don't know, Malta on its own. No offense to Malta, but they're not going to stand much of a chance, are they? God, talk about bringing a stick to a nuclear war. It comes down to this. You need the tier 10 gear, and yet you don't deserve it. You would have had the tier 10 gear, legitimately, if you had been part of a guild and if you had actually dedicated yourself to the cause of raiding over the course of the expansion. You didn't. You jumped on there late. And then you believe that you deserve tier 10 for doing nothing. What happened to everyone else that actually worked their way? You never even saw hide nor hair of tier 7. You didn't have to work for it. You didn't see tier 8. You didn't see tier 9. You just got your tier 10 nice and free. And apparently you deserve that because you pay $15 a month. Right, okay. Yeah, yes, you are, in fact, the enemy. That kind of attitude is disgusting. It's disgraceful. It goes against everything gaming stands for. The very core ideals of gaming. As in risk-reward. You get out what you put in. That system is broken. The people that latch onto that system, needless to say, started playing during Wrath, when they saw this as the norm. Everyone else, for the last 4 years, before Wrath came in, understood the ideal and understood the philosophy that you work for your epics. Otherwise, the epics are worthless. Why should you get into high-tier raids when you didn't even bother with the low-tier raids? Why should you do that? And yeah, I accept that half of this is Blizzard's fault. They did not design this correctly. But at the end of the day, you skipped out on 80% of the content, and now you're expecting to be carried. And you know what? Yeah, that is disgusting. It's pathetic. My name is Total Biscuit, and you're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrits.com. As promised, I shall provide you an exclusive right here. This is Brew Guy's brand new track. This is the full version of Doing the Troll Dance. Enjoy.